In this After Effects tutorial, we're going to talk about the timeline. As I've indicated or implied in previous tutorials, this area right here is referred to as the timeline. Since we're dealing with time in Adobe After Effects, then we have to set a duration of time. In this particular case, it's 1 minute. And as you can see on my frame, you'll see that it starts and measures it out in seconds. So for example, right here is at 30 seconds, 56 seconds. The little s stands for seconds. And I also have two items on my timeline that I can manipulate. I have the star shape layer and I have the text layer. In the timeline, as it appears right now, for my 1 minute little video here, you can see that the name stretches out across the entire timeline, meaning that from 0 seconds to the full minute, the name will appear on the screen and never leave. The same thing with the star. It exists on the entire timeline. Since we're dealing with time, we can control the duration of how things see, how long they're seen, or what happens to them on the timeline using keyframes. I'll show you keyframes in another tutorial. So say for example, I want this star to only appear for 30 seconds of my 1 minute video. I click on the star layer, I go to the end, and you'll see that it turns into two little arrows. By clicking and dragging, I can adjust the length of time that the star appears on the screen. So, right up here at the top, you'll see a little blue triangle. It's what they call the current time indicator. You'll see this a lot. It becomes critical when you're reviewing your films before you export them out. It's sometimes referred to as scrubbing. So if I click and drag, I can move this to any point in time in my video. So if I go back to the beginning, you'll see that my star is there. And as I scrub through, it remains there until I hit the 30-second point, where it then disappears. A lot of times when we're working in Adobe After Effects, we scrub a lot to see the progression of things. But you can also actually play your videos out and preview them. We're going to set this to 10 seconds. So that when I go up here to preview and I press play, you'll see that it is now playing everything that I've put on there. And when it gets to 10 seconds, the star will disappear. But it continues playing. And I can hit stop and scrub back and forth. So to review, you can adjust the length of time things are in your timeline by simply clicking and adjusting and dragging the bar. You can also move the bar as a whole, and you'll see that it has the same effect. We add keyframes on the timeline that begin our actual animations or effects, and we determine where they occur, what time they occur in our timeline. And this is how we manipulate and the importance of the timeline in Adobe After Effects.